Feds are coming in hot. Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz have not played ball for a while this investigation was going on, and now it all comes out in droves over the weekend. They're indicted. They're facing up to 65 years in federal prison if convicted on all charges to rig bets on individual pitches thrown. Charges include wire fraud conspiracy, honest services wire fraud conspiracy, conspiracy to influence sporting contests by bribery, and money laundering conspiracy. Both of them, through their legal representation, said they're totally innocent and they've done nothing wrong. They do get to go through the court process. Luis Ortiz seemed like he hopped on board way later, according to these allegations. Man, Clase has been involved with a lot of crap here for a while, if you're going off what's happening. And they didn't make that much money off it, especially Clase, who's making millions of dollars every year. But it gets really specific and detailed with Clase and friends and phone calls and being around people and giving them money to place bets on individual pitches, right? Hey, I'm going to throw this pitch. I'm going to throw a ball. I'm going to throw a pitch above or below a certain miles per hour. Those are all things that his buddies or his, whatever you want to call them, colleagues in this scheme were placing money on and winning money on, except for one situation where Andy Pajes swung at a pitch down in the dirt. Your thoughts on how crazy the details are here?
The details are I can't get away from the details. The details are so specific. He called somebody, or he conversated with him for 4 minutes before he was going to go in the game. I'm not saying he was warming up, but he was I guess he knew he was going in the game. I don't remember the exact timeline. And then he sent texts, and sure enough, the bet hits. The details are crazy to me because as a player, I knew nothing about this. Now, not playing, I started to learn a little bit more about it. But even more, I didn't even know about this. I didn't know that this was something that you could do. And then my mind goes, well, why is he doing this? I'm sure we'll get to it later. But why is he doing this? Why did he feel like his career and his money that he was making wasn't going to be enough? He being the best closer in the game for a little bit wasn't going to be enough financially for him, so he needed $12,000 extra dollars.
Oh, but AJ, there's too much temptation. There's too much temptation here. What's up? How's it going? I mean, you got to give him some credit here. There's so much temptation thrown his way. What? Are you kidding me? Temptation?
No, for what?
There's
5,000?
temptation in the world
5,000?
for everyone. And we say, no, I could deal drugs, but I don't.
You don't? You don't?
I don't.
Scott?
Why? Because you get in trouble for that.
Are you sure, Scott?
Okay.
Are you sure?
You get in
EDC was
trouble
this
for
weekend.
that.
Hey, EDC was this weekend, Scott. Are you sure you don't do drugs?
I didn't go. Oh, but yes,
I'm so disappointed.
There are a lot of temptations. You could do things illegally for business, but if you do that, there are ramifications. Are we supposed to feel bad because betting is legal and they regulate it, and so now they're able to catch him? Because all of a sudden they're like, wait, why is there massive amounts of money being placed on one pitch by Clase? That's how you catch this crap. So we're supposed to feel bad?
Happy. No, I'm happy. Listen, I had a whole thing this past weekend where I was talking to people and they were like, I don't understand this whole betting thing. And I said, you know what the problem is? It's regulated now. It wasn't regulated before. Now it's regulated. Before it was just with bookies. When Pete Rose was betting on baseball, we had to count on the bookie getting caught. Now it's regulated. So they can see that, oh, wow, all of a sudden 50 grand was bet on Clase throwing a pitch that bounced 3 feet in front of the plate, or Ortiz threw a pitch that bounced 7 feet in front of the plate. And God forbid Andy Pajes swing at one, because he swung at one, and then we get the sad puppy face where it's like.
All in the details. Were
Am
you
I not
shocked
right?
at how many details there were, how reckless this was? At least, again, I get it, allegations. But the feds have been working on this for a while. Were you shocked at how much they found with Clase specifically, putting so much together with people around him?
Yes, because then he brought another guy in with him. But what I don't understand is Clase was in line to make $10 million, $12 million. He was in line to make $30, $40 million. and he did not. He wanted $5,000 quick. Like, dude, like there's other ways to make $5,000 quick. Do a signing. Emmanuel Clase could do a signing. He'd be fine.
Right. Can't you just tell your agent, hey, I want to do some extra signings locally. Find some spots where I pop up. I need a little bit of extra cash. I mean, again, I just want to make sure this is clear. Luis Ortiz, not poor on the contract, but early on in his career, making league minimum $700 to something thousand. In normal life,
you know how many
terms,
people
you're
would kill?
Good. Yeah, of
Scott,
course. But I just want to emphasize, dude, Clase is making so much money in life terms.
Clase was in line to make
$5,000 should mean nothing.
Clase was in line to make $50 million. $50 million. Like $10 million a year for years coming up, for multiple years. And he did this for $5,000. $5,000.
Yeah, I think 12 technically, right? It was a 5 and then a 7 piece or something. And
yeah, but
in
5
my
at
mind,
a time.
yeah, we
Still
don't have all
5
the
at a time.
details. I could see Clase potentially making more on this so far based on all of the allegations that I've seen. Maybe there's been some money trails that weren't caught. But either way, nothing close to it making sense for him to put his entire career and to put his life from a criminal standpoint on the line. I mean, up to 65 years in prison. Are they going to get that? Probably not. Are they going to ever play baseball again? Man, it is going to take some hell of a turnaround case here to convince everyone that you weren't involved in this. So now, I mean, we'll go back to the case and everything too. Hey, the Cleveland Guardians had themselves one of the cheaper top closers in baseball for a while. They did okay without him towards the end of last season, but he gone.
And obviously this is, we're assuming he's guilty based on the facts. This isn't Major League Baseball doing the investigation. This was a federal investigation. Based on the facts that we read, we're assuming he's guilty, and that's where my opinion comes from when I say this. Emmanuel Clase was also a steroid user, performance-enhancing drugs in 2020. So I don't feel like maybe all of his decisions are really tightened up. I don't think he makes some pretty poor decisions. So he's never going to play in Major League Baseball again. And good for a Dominican team that didn't let him play in the DR either.
Yeah,
he was trying to go to Venezuela.
But dude, you can't compare steroids and gambling because steroids.
People
forget about decisions. Yes, but you can't
decision making. That's
steroids.
it.
We talked about this the other day. Everyone's like, "Oh, he did steroids. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, and then he's fine now." Because I'll be honest with you. If I look back on my career and I played in the steroid era, why would you not do them? If you're going to get a $100 million, $200 million contract, I have to give up $5 million, but I'm still making $195 million? Oh, okay. And no one remembers? I'm not going to the Hall of Fame, right? I don't know. So, let's not lump steroids and gambling in the same thing because gambling is on a whole different level. That affects absolutely the integrity of the game. Although Andy
AJ
was like, take your integrity and watch me swing at this ball in the dirt.
He's just saying he's made some wrong decisions. And also, yes, I mean, back in the day, there were really no repercussions for roids. Now there are. It's tested. You get caught. You get banned for a specific amount of games. Kratz pop quiz. What has 35 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, comes in excellent flavors like, of course, chocolate, vanilla, but chocolate peanut butter, my favorite. No added sugar, gluten-free, under $5 per meal, and is ready to drink.
Go out the house, get yourself a Huel. Look at you. You even have one right there. Ready to smack that, John? Chocolate peanut butter, chocolate, and vanilla. Deliciosos.
Also, there is a new Daily Greens ready to drink. 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods. Only 25 calories on that one. 4 grams of fiber. There's flavors like blueberry, apple, peach. Huel makes healthy eating simple. They also just launched into Target stores nationwide. Try both products today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with the code FOUL at huel.com/FOUL. Use that code FOUL and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support FT. Zach Mizell in The Athletic wrote in his story on this about a specific detail. For example, and Kratz alluded to this somewhat. April 26, 3:16 p.m., just before he entered the game in the 8th inning, he texts an associate who's sitting in the stands at the ballpark. Then they have a 2-minute phone call, which is against MLB rules. You're not allowed to do that during games anyway. 4 minutes later, a group of bettors win 11 grand. Wagering a particular pitch by Clase would register at slower than 97.95 miles an hour. And then he hung out with those people after the game. Oh,
what?
Wow. I mean, that is reckless. That is reckless.
How do you know this? How do you know this? That's what I want to know. You're like, I'm going to this ball. I mean, I know, I get the throwing a...
Throw a slider. What do you mean?
Yeah, but his slider's like 100 anyways.
His cutter thing is pretty hard. Yeah.
But my thing is like, you're like, I'm just going to yank this one straight into the dirt, which he tried numerous times. And so did Ortiz. Like, listen, I'm not saying they're guilty, but from looking at the evidence that I've seen and I've read this whole thing, it's hard to argue that something wasn't off because it was always the first pitch, right? It was like, oh, first pitch, watch this. And then they go dig in the mound and they're like, like, I get it. They might not be guilty, but wow. If I'm looking at this from the outside, I'm thinking, wow.
There's so much surveillance too. Bank security footage captured Clase withdrawing 50 G's in cash. He gave 15K to one of the bettors who was in Cleveland that day to wager on that pitch. They've been working hard on this one to gather evidence.
What did Clase? I didn't see what did Clase's agent say or his attorney? He's not guilty.
He's not guilty.
Yeah.
But so then,
you want me to read it? Because it's Ortiz's is long. Clase's attorney just says Emmanuel Clase is donated
50 grand.
What?
If you pull out 50 grand and hand it to a guy or whatever it was, and then he bet on that pitch, like doesn't that seems fishy? I'm just saying, fishy.
Among many,
fishy?
What about if you place a phone call and say, "Hey, I'm about to go in the game. Here's what's going to happen." You can't do that.
I'm going in and 1 out. Was he like this on his phone as he was warming up? Was the bullpen coach down there like he's like, "Hey, you can't be on your phone." He's like, "Hold on, let me text my friend and tell him I'm going to throw a first pitch ball." Like what?
I mean, that's what it appears. That is what this indictment from the DOJ says. And yes, his attorney said Clase has devoted his life to baseball and doing everything in his power to help his team win. Emmanuel is innocent of all charges and looks forward to clearing his name in court. So clearly, at least initially here, there's no plea deal or anything like that. And again, for legal ramifications, we have to say he's going to court. We're not assuming he's guilty. We're just like everybody else looking at a ton of evidence that has been thrown out there already in this initial report.
Usually the feds don't go after you unless they have a pretty good case. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there, Kratz. They usually don't go after you unless they have a pretty good case. And if look, Ortiz is in custody, right? Where's Clase? Is he not in custody?
No, he's in.
Not yet.
He's still in.
He's not here, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Ortiz was in Boston, so he went into custody, or in New England. I think it's up in New England, somewhere up there.
Yeah. He was arrested in Massachusetts talking about Luis Ortiz. The Ortiz case, is definitely containing less evidence, but that does, I mean, if you do one time, the way it works in baseball, at least, is you're gone. It's not like, oops, I did that one time. Can I have forgiveness? There is no second strike policy. It's one time and you're out. And they do have communication with Clase, talking to Ortiz and saying when you're getting that money sent to you in the DR to say it's for repairs at the country house. So there's a lot here. You can read about it. There are excellent reports and articles on this topic.